when we're going to compare two rational numbers, so when comparing two rational numbers, it's important to have them in the same form. Okay, so that form is going to either be both decimals or both fractions or all decimals, all fractions. Okay, we want to make sure they're in the same form. It makes it way easier to compare and actually makes it possible to compare. So if we're comparing as fractions, we need to make sure that both values have the same denominator. And if we're comparing as decimals, we're going to add zeros behind the smaller number of decimal places to make them the same. Okay, or at least as close to the same as we can get. Now, we've gone through this in the past with just decimals and just fractions. Now we're going to take a look at doing one decimal and one fraction and comparing which one is bigger. So here we have to determine is 1/3 or 0.3 bigger. Okay. Well, in this case here, these ones are one is a fraction, one is a decimal. And so what we want to do is we want to change them both into the same thing. I'm going to keep them as decimals. Or sorry, keep them as fractions. Okay, so we have 1/3 or 3/10. These have a different denominator. So 1/3, if we multiply them both, or this one by 10 and multiply this one by 3, we're going to get 10/30 or 9/30. And then we can see that this one is in fact bigger. Okay, the 10/30 is bigger than the 9/30. Now for some of you, that's going to be a little more of a challenge trying to convert and change. So let's change it just to decimals. 1/3, okay, and again, you can do this on a calculator. 1 divided by 3 is 0.3 repeated. So this is going to be 0.33 repeated or 0.3. Now here I have two decimals already. Here I'm going to add another one, 0.33 or 0.30. This one is going to be bigger. And we can put in our greater than sign to show that that one is in fact bigger. And I'm just going to put a greater than right there. Okay, it's bigger than the other one there. Now let's take a look at a couple that are just as examples. We're going to compare each. So here we have 1/4 and 0.25. Well, some of you already know what 1/4 is as a decimal. We can try it out with our calculator. 1 divided by 4 is 0.25. So these ones are in fact equal. Okay, they're exactly the same. 4/5 and 0.75. Let's change 4 divided by 5 into a decimal. This is 0.8 and 0.75. That means that the 4/5 is in fact bigger than 0.75. 8/3. Again, going to do this on the 8 divided by 3 is 2.6 repeated or 2.15. Again, that one is the bigger one. Okay, it's the bigger decimal. And lastly, 15 divided by 7. Okay, I've got 2.14. Now, if we leave it at 2.14, they kind of look equal, but this one isn't. This one has a couple more decimal places. So if I add one more decimal place, 2.140, this one is in fact bigger, and so we put the greater than sign in there. Okay. Now, a little bit, again, make sure we convert to the same form, either both decimals, both fractions. I would recommend you do both decimals, as it tends to be, I would say, a little bit simpler to compare and to convert it into a decimal that's easier to recognize. Please do questions 3 and 4 on your assignment.